Welcome everybody. We're on the Renovated Thinking podcast.
Hey, how y'all doing today?
And we here, man.
Yes,
it's Ray, it's Jade, and it's Dion, man. We back with another episode. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Ain't nobody gonna know what's going on right now. That's funny. So how y'all doing, man?
This was a little
Great.
happy intro.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Happy to be alive.
Week,
Exactly.
Hectic week, why?
Yeah, just constant moving, back and forth, unpacking. I was looking at my mom the other day. How do you sometimes got knot in the middle. I was like, wow, you're stressed. But it'll be over soon. Everything will be back to normal. We just got to get settled, in a new house. That's all.
In the new house.
Everything's good, I'm smiling.
Yeah, definitely.
Everything's good, I'm making other people happy, if I can.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah. Do what you gotta do.
Right week,
Astro, how about you, man?
I'm blessed. Can't complain, man. I'm good. We here. Another week. Hope everybody else had a great week. We here.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I had a good week.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I'm good.
Amen.
My life is moving. It's regardless of how well.
that was a big smile.
Regardless of how well life is going, I'm good. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So we're gonna get into the topic because I know we don't have much time this Sunday. So the topic today is givers and takers. Givers versus takers.
Givers versus takers.
Givers versus takers.
Which one are you? Or
Which one are
both?
you? Or are you both? And actually, you should be both.
That's what I was
But we're going to get
thinking.
into that.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're going to get into that. So, as far as givers and takers, is crazy, you brought that up because that's, part of my whole introduction. In your lifetime, you're going to give and you're going to take.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? You're going to give and you take. It's just about where you do it, how you do it, who you do it with, everything.
Mm-hmm.
That matters, you know what I'm saying? Because in some aspects, one or the other will define you, not
Right.
both.
Mm-hmm.
And you want to make sure that you're defined in the right ways when it comes to giving and taking. So, I went over the definitions, because I like to do this because I like to really get an understanding for what it is that I'm, looking into. So, I was thinking of it as like, okay, you should be a giver first and a taker second. That's how I kind of see it. So when I was looking at the definitions, and I also looked at, I went for definitions, but I ended up running into some synonyms that caught my eye.
Mm-hmm.
I almost said that word wrong. And it says givers is a person who gives something to present voluntarily without expecting compensation. Right?
Oh, I like that last part though. Go ahead.
Yeah, that's I mixed those two definitions together.
Mm-hmm.
And then the synonyms, I'll get into that after. Takers, I also mixed these because the regular dictionary just gave me a person who takes something. This other one, this is not a legitimate definition because it came from Urban Dictionary, but I ain't gonna lie, when I read it, I was like, that's true. As far as how this, how I was gonna go after this conversation, I was like, they're right. So this definition says, one who is always taken from others, takes advantage of the hospitality and giving of others without even reciprocating generally.
Okay.
Reciprocating generally as in you may give me, certain information that I may need to know.
Mm-hmm.
And that doesn't necessarily that I have to hand you back information.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just taking and go.
But
Thank you.
because you were open to give me certain information that some people wouldn't close, I shouldn't take the information you gave me, say thank you, and then go off and then be enclosed about it.
Yeah, I could just.
I should also be willing to
spread it as well.
give it to somebody else.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what they say when they mean generally.
Yeah. I was thinking about that earlier, actually. Not gonna lie, that was probably like 15 minutes ago. I was and what I thought about specifically was how I first started out with my internship.
Mm-hmm.
The one thing that I was asked was, how can you contribute? And truth be told, I didn't know. I didn't even know how to answer the question because it was my first internship. It was my first time. One thing I was told, for starters, you're contributing your time.
Right.
That's you're helping us.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but in the as time goes on, you'll be able to contribute, but you'll be able to give back as well. So what I'm getting from them, I'll be able to once I take that from them, I can still help others with that. But even with learning from them, I can, when I'm contributing, this is stuff that I'm learning along the way. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So one thing is, when you're able to, if you're able to take from someone or something, it's best to dish out or help others.
Right.
Instead of just, and it's vice versa. You can learn something from one place and give it out to somebody else.
Right.
And then take it from them and, go back to this place and be like, hey, well, this is what I learned from over here.
Right.
So
right.
It can work both ways. You just have to be willing.
Yeah.
Don't be so closed off.
Don't be so closed off, and don't just continue to take stuff from people, and it's fine. Yeah, just don't be trying to take from people and take things and all type of stuff, and then you're not willing to air out back to anybody or to give anything, and that's for people who are self-centered.
Yeah, basically.
Don't be.
And sometimes it happens to a certain extent.
Yeah.
Sometimes you don't have anything to give as of yet.
We gonna get into that. Yeah.
I feel like when it comes down to also when you learn it, because as you learn, you should learn so that you can be able to regurgitate it and teach someone else. Mm-hmm. So I feel like if you learn that way, it'll be easier for you to give back. Some people don't, some people just learn it just to learn it, and then they're not able to reteach it to someone else. So that's one of the ways to be able to give after you take, is to learn it to the point where you can give it back.
Yeah. In essence, speaking of like a skill and stuff like that.
Yeah.
There's anything, from a skill to whatever, There's on your teacher too. As a teacher, you have to teach them and make sure they're able to retain it and regurgitate it back to you. So that way, that's when I feel like your job as a teacher is done, when you're doing, not when they learn something, when they are able to reteach it to another person so they can spread that knowledge on.
Right.
Yeah, because that's when, a teacher's impact becomes powerful.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Those are the type of teachers that people idolize because, there's a difference. We all know that there's a difference with teachers and the ones that just, come in Monday morning, wiping their eyes and feel like this. We gonna get this over with and get on versus, and that's
to come in and ask, are y'all ready to learn?
Right.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? There's a difference. So with givers and takers, the synonyms that I got for these words caught my attention like a lot. So I'm going to go over them. Givers, the synonyms: benefactor, contributor, and bestower. if I pronounce that right, bestower. Yeah. So those words caught my eye for that. And when it came to takers, the synonyms for that are parasites, leech, dependent, sponge. Watch this though. Watch how I'm gonna flip this though. Watch how I'm gonna flip this. So before we even get to the bad part of being a taker, let's talk about the good part of being a taker. If you see the synonym, one of the synonyms that were in, for that word, of a taker, it was a sponge. So you know how we always say trying to be a sponge to information, being a sponge to people and to things that that you can learn from. Taking is okay. When somebody gifts you something, it's okay to take that. And giving back can be as simple as saying thank you. Because Because you know what I'm saying? Because when people give you something, that's
just acknowledgement.
Just acknowledging the fact that something was given to you.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Instead of taking. And I don't look at it when I saw the word in taking, I'd even look at it from an aspect of stealing. It's just, snatching and being like, oh, like you ever seen young, little kids who don't know manners and how to say thank you, and you nice enough to give them something like, here you go, and they go and walk away. That's exactly what that is. Like that's and you don't want to be that, because then you're gonna just be looked at something that says take you. That you're just taking stuff.
And also with the sponge situation, I like that example, because as a sponge, you absorb, right?
Right.
So have you ever felt a brand new sponge? A brand new sponge is dry, is very light, it's very easy to move around.
Yes.
But as a sponge start absorbing, just like anyone or whatever, they start absorbing energy, they start absorbing information, they start absorbing different things. But if you keep absorbing things, but you do not wring it out, if you do not give anything back, what happens to the sponge?
It can no longer absorb.
It can't move. It can't absorb. It can't move. It's too heavy.
Yeah.
So as a sponge, you have to wring out and give, so you be able to absorb more information.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
So that's another good one to use with the sponge.
That's a good way to for real. Like that's exactly, and that's what people mean by being a sponge. Your ability to absorb. Right. And then eventually you can pour out.
Exactly. Into another sponge, into another person.
Right.
And the cycle just keeps continuing.
Because when you start doing that, you start to feel good.
Right.
It feels good to help and dish out what you know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, man. So that's like, that's a really good part of being a taker, just being willing to take in information from, other people, information that you just don't know. Because, like I had got addicted to learning stuff that I didn't know, like around my teenage years, when and we already been through that whole conversation on this podcast about understanding the meaning behind education is key. When you hear it, as an adult, it could be different from you. It could be different from you. For you, hearing education is key versus when you were a child. So that is a pure example of, just I got to a place where I was just like, I was a sponge to everything and everybody, and trying to learn as much as I can, because there were certain things that growing up I didn't have my parents and my older siblings to teach me. Things that, now that I'm looking out on life after learning so much so far, looking out at it, I'm just like, there's a lot of stuff that, in the house that I grew up in, I didn't necessarily get that information, and it's so essential to being able to live a wealthy life. And I had to go out in my young adulthood and go out and get that information and seek that information. And then when I give it to people, a lot of people will be like, yo, I didn't know that. I didn't know this existed. I didn't know that was going on. And I'd be like, yeah, it exists. But the thing is that, yes, you have to go out and you have to learn it, because certain people, they get places in life because of what they know. Literally. And you have to take that, honestly, you have to take it to an extent to be like, okay, certain people can give you, and you could take from certain people different things, like how we has, spoke about, like in the previous episode when we were talking about people who can, add to you.
Yeah.
People who can add to you in some way, shape, form, or fashion.
Yeah.
People can do it in a lot of different ways. You know what I'm saying? Because I can have my mother on one end, I can have a mentor on the other.
Right.
And the mentor may know a lot of things that my mother doesn't know. But there are certain things that, my mother can give me that, is as far as, support and nurture that mentor just can't give me. And I'm not going to even go to that mentor and ask for that.
Yeah.
Even some parenting skills. Yeah.
Right. So it's just those different things. So that is a good part of being a taker. But also we can get also into the word dependent, which there's also a good and a bad part to that as well. Because you don't want to be dependent in every aspect of your life. Y'all can tell me what y'all think about that, because for me it's kind of it's a real thin line with that when I was really thinking about it, knowing how when you get to some, as a child you are a dependent,
Right.
period,
Of course.
because you don't make no money. You in the fridge.
Some people. So there's some kids actually nowadays that's on.
Nah, listen.
But yeah, for the most part.
These past
But majority.
these past couple of generations built different.
Yeah.
Okay.
Definitely. Yeah, they out here.
No,
Yeah.
for real.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Talk about lazy now.
No, for real. Because there'll be some kid, there's some kids who they all up in the kitchen, they all up in the fridge, they eating all the food that you that you buy, and they sleeping under your roof. You're and it's not it, as a child, it's not a problem.
Right.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying that's what it is, and that's the meaning of being a dependent. And as you grow older, you become an adult. You should be making that transition in every way that you possibly can, regardless of gender.
Yes.
Please, regardless of gender, because a lot. Should I go down this route?
Oh, what happened?
Yo.
Let me do that. Okay. Let me go down that route real quick.
About to be a one.
Yeah. So, being a dependent, as you go into adulthood, you have to make that transition, regardless of whether you're a man or a woman. Now, the way that this world is set up, and I can necessarily agree to some aspect, especially a man, you should work on trying to be as independent as you can, right? But I just want to mention that when it comes to women, I always tell people to mention to your daughters to, like, for example, for me, when I have my own daughters, I'm not going to teach them. I'm going to teach them to make that transition from being being dependent to being independent to some aspects. Why are you looking at me like that? To be, to go to being independent to a lot of extent, actually. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because what I do notice is that some people get to a place where, like, some women look for a transition from their father in some aspects. When I say that, I mean,
And vice versa.
what do you, and vice versa? Which
As far
way?
as some dudes go from a transition from their mothers
Oh,
to the
yeah.
Yeah.
You're right about that.
Yeah.
You're right about that. You're so right. And you know what I'm saying? Like people go down that transition and, you know, they're looking for, you know what I'm saying? Because
A provider.
you're, yes, yes, a provider. You're looking for somebody to be there to always, you know, and for me, I just look at it and I'm not trying to, you know, raise nobody to grow up and be like, oh, I don't need no man. Not all of that.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is to get a woman to understand, listen, whenever you're in a situation that you have to do for yourself, do for yourself. I don't know what situations my children would go into as they get older. If I have whenever I have a son, I'm not going to tell that son, oh, when you get, you know, as you're growing up as a boy, you know, your mom is going to be here to cook for you.
Yeah.
And when you get older, eventually you'll be married and your wife will cook for you. No. You're going to learn how to cook
for yourself.
Right.
Because there may be a time when you're by yourself.
Exactly.
Who you going to lean on?
Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
You.
Exactly.
Well, that's real.
So you gotta get to that place, and then when you cross over into the side for women, I'm not going to teach you. Oh, yeah, you know, eventually, you know, once you have a husband who makes some good money, you'll be able to live in that house with him, and that you could be
Just a good example.
You shouldn't even think like that.
As a child, you become a taker because you are a taker.
You are a taker.
But as a child, you should be learning. Absorbing like a sponge, absorbing. So once you get in a certain position, you can release all the things that you learn. And it's also on the parents and the mentors who are over the children to make sure they know. Because I've noticed, well, I know with certain situations with me, like people do positive things, but they don't necessarily like show you how they did it.
Right.
You know? So you sitting looking like, oh, I seen so and so did this and that. That's amazing. But now I don't know how that was accomplished. So I don't really know how to go that route to accomplish this goal. You know what I'm saying? Or to if I wanted to. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like as a child, once you learn all these positive things, once you go off to college, once you go off and have your own children, that's your time as a sponge to wring it out and teach others what you've learned. You know, like prime example, say if you learn how to cook something with grandma. Now, once you go to college, you could teach your friends. You could teach your collegiate friends, unless it's like a secret recipe or whatever. You could teach your friends how to do it. Now they know how to do it. Now they can learn, and if you teach them the right way, they can teach somebody else. Yeah. And when you have children, you could do the same thing. So now you went from a taker to a giver, and now those takers. So now you've given to somebody, they take and they give. Basically, it's like a revolving door.
Yeah. It's a revolving door, right?
So
and it's overflowing, but you know that can backfire too. And how that backfired when you said the whole thing of absorbing as a child and releasing, you know, once you get to a certain place in your life, that's exactly what happens. That happens with kids all the time, because once kids at a very young age are absorbing, they're letting out nothing but what they know. What they know, what they've seen, what they've been around. Yeah. And that's it.
Oh yeah, it can backfire to absorb some bad stuff.
Exactly.
Yeah, you're right. But that's part of being a sponge. What happens with a sponge? If you wipe up garbage and you absorb garbage, you're gonna release garbage. If you absorb water, you're gonna release water.
If you got sewer water,
you're gonna get sewer water. That's just real. So think about that's just real. Like, just if a person was a sponge, you got a bucket full of water, you got a bucket full of chum or whatever you call it, just nasty stuff. And if you dunk it here, you gonna I don't want that. I don't even want to absorb it. But if you dunk it in the water, that's just water. Okay, that's nice. You know, it's water. So that's just as a person, you dunk somebody in positivity, upliftment, and know what I'm saying, positive knowledge versus somebody who, you know what I'm saying, with negative things, a negative attitude, a person that put down a crap in the bucket. Which sponge would you want to be around? Definitely. Which sponge would you want to absorb from?
Right. Exactly.
At least if you're trying to better yourself.
So let's throw this one away, and we're going to keep this one.
Yeah.
I always say, honestly, to teach your children to be independent, not to depend on.
Right.
Yeah.
Because as time goes by, and they don't have anybody, you know, because eventually our parents, our grandparents, they all gonna be gone, you know.
Right.
Eventually it's just gonna be us. So it's important for us to do for ourselves, you know, when we can. Like when we learn, it's important to grasp that and
To
use
at
it
least
for
know how
ourselves.
to.
Yeah.
To at least know how to.
Another thing is we have to realize, especially with Corona Corona really show you like time is nothing to play with. It's a lot of things that our elders and our ancestors know as far as knowledge. There's different things. There's different things from food, cooking to civil rights things to history that we don't know. And time is ticking. Eventually, they're not going to be here anymore. So that information is going to go with them unless we get it.
Oh, yeah.
So it's on us. Because eventually, prime example, how many people you know can cook a cake from scratch without using the box? You feel what I'm saying? That's an art that will eventually go extinct unless we, as a generation, do something about it.
Just learn from the people before.
It's simple.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, like you could also use that to make money with as well if you wanted to. You know what I'm saying? It's I don't know. That's just, you know, things is going to, not everything is going to be here forever. So I don't know. That's just, you know, take heed to that. Just remember, like you have elders that has a lot of information that you may need or may want. And once they're gone, it's gonna be gone.
So. Right. Yeah. So we definitely have to also just know to just absorb from the right people, absorb certain information, you know, that can just be able to do for us. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, as far as
actually,
yeah,
because Lion pointed this out.
Okay.
She said, actually, let me read this. She said, there are people who recognize the kinds of sponges they are.
There's people that recognize what type of sponges they are. I wanna hear a little bit more about that, Dandy.
That's a good one.
That is a good one.
And you have ones who do it on purpose. That's one thing.
I could say that
because
he is a sponge who recognized who he was. That's why we're sitting
Yeah.
here.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
I was about to say that now that you mentioned, because you have some people, like prime example, you may have somebody that want to learn about a negative aspect that we consider negative, like say drugs. Oh, I want to learn how to do this in the drug game. You would put yourself in the environment or meet somebody who you can get that information from. Just like, say, if you want to know about stocks or real estate or anything else, you would surround yourself like a sponge into, and you have to submerge yourself in that information so you could absorb it and get it. So that's like she said, you would know, depending on what's your goals in life and what's your aspirations, if you're going to be a dirty sponge or a clean sponge.
Yeah.
If you're going to uplift people or you're going to tear people down. Because you got some people also that may live their life to give people false information and give you the wrong information on purpose. So not everybody's is willing to give you, you know what I'm saying, the right information, the good information as far as being a sponge and the giver and the taker. You got some people who's probably supposed to be giving you stuff, but that don't mean it's the good stuff.
Yeah. Oh, and I'm gonna twist it up for y'all a little bit. But you know, nobody perfect.
Right.
Nobody's perfect.
That's real.
So nobody's water is completely clean.
That's real.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay. So we have to make sure that we can take what people give to us in a way where the water is somewhat purified.
So filter it out.
Filter out what you take from somebody, because nobody's perfect.
That's
right?
real. Yeah, absolutely.
For example, not everybody. I'm not. for the past 4 years, I haven't been a fan of our president of the United States.
Okay.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, he obviously has vocalized some views about certain things that I don't mess with.
Mm-hmm.
And no, I do not sit down and listen to his speeches to ramble on about anything, you know, negative. I don't let him feed that to me.
Right.
I can't.
True.
You know what I'm saying? Now, if anybody remembers, which I'm sure people do, is that prior to him, you know, Trump just being looked at as the president, he was looked at as a TV personality, business person, a real estate investor.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, it's funny because a lot of people, because of how he is as a president, people see him and they be like, man, that man is just dumb. I be like, yeah. They be like, man, that man is just dumb, kid.
I was not expecting that. Okay.
And I honestly just be like, he ain't dumb. Matter of fact, he know what he's saying.
Yeah, exactly.
He know exactly what he's doing.
Yeah, exactly.
So no, the man not dumb.
He making mistakes.
Yeah. He making his mistakes, but what he's saying,
he's
what
playing into a part
right.
that he knows.
He's aware.
Yeah,
and he didn't get to where he at just by accident.
Nah, we can get into why he does and says the things why he says, because I've paid very close attention and I know exactly why he's openly the way that he is and how he's been in the last 4 years, definitely. So the thing is, from him as an investor, I'm a real estate investor. He's a highly successful real estate investor, right?
Mm-hmm.
So regardless of his personality, if I was to sit down with Trump, technically there's information I can still take from him.
Yeah.
Regardless of who you are. It's his decision if he wants to give it to me. Would he give it to me?
Not if he see this.
Not if he see this.
You know, he petting.
Yeah. But guess what? A lot of his, some stuff that he learned as a real estate investor, he put it in the book anyway. So I ain't got to ask him.
Exactly.
It's already published.
Yeah.
I got it already. You know what I'm saying? And I looked into it before I even ever considered to even really go into real estate. I had read the book already. Before he became president, I read the book already.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I know there's certain information that he may have that, you know what I'm saying? He's a very unique sponge. He's an orange sponge.
Yeah.
But he's a sponge.
Yeah. They got
and
those at Home
he
Depot,
has
orange sponge.
Yeah. Right. You can get those, you know. And apparently now we can get those over at Barnes & Noble too. You can grab a book and you can get information that you need.
No.
You know what I'm saying? So, but some people even, not many people, but a couple people try to criticize me. Why would you be reading the Trump book?
It's not even about that.
It's not about that.
It's not about
Yeah.
Why would you be reading the Trump real estate book?
just the word, just his name.
But that don't make sense though, because all right, like we talked about before, who do you get information from? People who has been there, done that, who has knowledge on that information. You just said that he is a successful real estate investor,
right?
Which means, like we said, even though you may not like him as a person,
right,
or like the things that he's doing, he's successful in his profession.
Exactly.
So at the end of the day, there comes a time when you have to separate your personal feelings from business, because it's not about your feelings; it's about trying to be successful.
That's in general.
That's in general.
That's exactly my point.
No matter who it is.
Exactly.
And he's a perfect example.
Because there'd be people that you work with that you really want to tear their face off, but you have to work with them.
Right.
You have to. And you just looking like, yo, I really don't like you. Yeah. I despise you. If it was in the streets, we might have thrown hands multiple times, but we work together. We're successful together, so we have to make this work. It is what it is.
You may not agree with everything.
Fist pound.
You may not agree.
I
with
hate you.
What?
But it be like that. Like business will bring the most phoniest part of you out, but you have to do it. It is what it is.
Yeah, and it's not even being phony. It's just be like, listen, man.
It's business.
We talking business right now. Now, if you're gonna ask me, because there's a lot of people I do business with. They like to be, we can all grab a cup of coffee. I'd be like,
Right. 'Cause I really don't like you like that.
I don't know you like that. I may not, I may not say it or whatever, but they get the vibe. They understand.
But pause. Hold on. You saying that, even though you may not like them or feel some type of way about them, you may not know, even missing out on that cup of coffee, you could be missing out on information that you could grasp from them.
That's
no,
real.
Definitely.
Real.
No, definitely.
That's real. You gotta be willing. Yeah, you gotta know that though. That's part of it. You know, if you're going to be anti with certain situations, just know that sometimes you're not going to get all of the information because sometimes they may withhold certain information for only the certain people they sit down and have a personal relationship with. So you also have to know that as well.
Mm-hmm. It's up
So,
to you.
yeah, exactly.
Right? It's definitely up to you.
Yeah, but at the same time, sometimes you gotta like for me, I'm a person like when it comes to absorbing from people, I'm a person. I sometimes some people you gotta sit back and let it ride and see how much you can get out of it. Some people you can come at them directly and be like, I got questions for you.
Yeah.
So and you ask them,
Yeah.
and you may get on their nerves
Get a little
sometimes,
something.
whatever. You asking a lot of questions, but you're getting the information that you don't know, and that's what matters. You know what I'm saying? So I definitely get what you're saying, but sometimes I be declining. I'm not gonna lie.
It'd be like that. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but definitely like when it comes to being a giver, being a giver, give what you have.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Even if it's a compliment.
Right. No matter how little, and what I realize is that one thing that I noticed is that a lot of the synonyms that had to do with a giver, when you look at the definitions of the synonyms, a lot of money was brought up a lot, but it's not even about money.
Right.
It's not always about philanthropy, which philanthropy is a part of. Philanthropy and just being able to give is a part of that. But then there's some other parts that's just like, you know what I'm saying? You got something to say?
The question that Lion has, she says, I'm tired of this unlocking sheet. So where's the line between opportunist and appreciator? And I'm glad that she asked that because that actually comes with what you just said.
Okay. Do you want me to answer the question?
I want to know. Yeah, I want to know what you think.
Okay. The line between opportunist and
Appreciator.
an appreciator. Okay. So honestly, that line could even be as simple, in my opinion, it could be as simple as showing that you just appreciate, what's given to you. Like, for example, opportunist, we know that as an opportunist, some people are not good opportunists. And they take opportunity, like, for example, just the opportunity to, for example, if you're at a local store, you're at a corner store or something like that, and the person who is behind the register, you know what I'm saying, and I as a child, I'm not gonna lie, I'm guilty to this. You know what I'm saying? So it's not like I'm judging nobody because I've been there. But if you went to your local corner store and the person behind the desk is somebody that you've known for years, and the person is the owner of the corner store, this is their own business, this is their own hustle, they can't do a million things at once. Right. So sometimes they're not so focused on watching people steal from their store. So when you're sitting there as a child and you see, you see these snacks and you see whatever, and you're just like, man, these snacks look good. Right. I ain't,
Everything It's basically in your grasp.
I can snatch and leave.
Mm-hmm.
You know, this is a corner store. We in the hood. Ain't no detector up there. You know what I'm saying? I could walk out and I'll be fine. I could have my M&M. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And as it's an opportunity. You're being an opportunist by taking it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not using your opportunity in a positive light.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Using an opportunity in a positive light is, for example, me asking you guys, hey, let's take this platform, let's give to people, you know, let's come on here, let's do this.
Yeah.
And y'all took the opportunity to, okay, that's a positive opportunity, right?
Yeah.
So when it comes to somebody being appreciative, it can be as simple as just showing gratitude and, you know, just showing gratitude to what is
love the fact that you said that.
right.
Yeah.
So that's the meaning behind all of that. You know what I'm saying? So there's definitely there's a thin line, but the line is at the same time very simple.
Yeah, and I feel like you could be both.
Yeah.
You could be an opportunist and then show appreciation and gratitude.
Of course.
You know, and that's what you should do. You know, if you have somebody who see that you're an opportunist and provide you with the things that you need, at least you can do is tell them thank you.
Right.
At least.
So that's extremely important. You know what I'm saying? So you just got to be able to, you know, give to people and just be able to say, you know what, I'm gonna, and that's another part, you know, because I know we're gonna be ending this episode soon, but on the part of giving, something else that I want to touch up on is, if y'all listen to the definition that I gave for a giver in the beginning of this episode, I said, like, let me quote exactly how it's typed. A person who gives something. Other one is to present voluntarily without expecting compensation. We spoke about this. I specifically remember you bringing this up. And it's about giving and not always expecting direct return when you give.
Yeah.
It's very important that you do that, because when you're always expecting, you know, a direct return, you will get to a place where you start to not give because you're going to realize once you're so focused on receiving compensation all the time for what you give, you're going to really notice how often it doesn't come in return so fast. Sometimes, you know how they say karma exists. And sometimes karma can happen in 5 seconds. Sometimes it can happen in 5 years. There's a difference, you know, there's a difference, but it's the same situation.
Yeah.
So you can't always expect. I firmly believe in just wanting to give, and continuously doing that, and just being like, man, I just do it to, you know what I'm saying? Like, for example, like, if you want to go in a monetary route, if I'm gonna give, like, if sometimes, like, for example, I may have done something as simple as, you know, I could be at a store and then I could be with somebody and we can grab some stuff and everything like that. And I done grab some stuff, you grab some stuff. Ain't no point of going through 2 transactions. Okay, I got it, whatever. Right. I take it. I won't even remember that I did that for you. But then you have some people who's literally going to be like, they're going to look at a future situation and be like, but you don't remember when we was at the store? Right.
And take it as if, well, since you did it this time, you're going to continue to do it. And sometimes people take advantage of that. Yeah. You know, so at the same, you have to be careful. You have to be careful with who you do it around, who you are around, and who you do for.
Mm-hmm. Because I'll check you real quick. I'll be like, I did it, but yeah, that's not my responsibility. Like, hold up, you know, pause. So it's just a situation like me. I'm personally, I feel like I'm a person that I naturally give, and I may not even remember giving to you. Yeah, and I won't bring up.
That's how it usually is. The people, you know, it's natural for you. Is something you're not holding it in your memory.
Yeah, I don't hold none of that stuff in my memory. Sometimes you could bring up something that I did for you or gave to you or something like that, and I'd be like, oh, what? Be like, oh, okay, yeah, whatever. You know, I'm not the type of person to just bring up what because I don't.
Did for you,
You know, but in return, you know, I feel like I've been like that for years. And you know what situations I feel like was given to, instead of doing for this person, doing for that person, and I'm not even thinking about anything, you know, in general, because I don't really hold nothing. But I know that I naturally just do that. And me doing that over time, I felt like God blessed me with the ability to go into real estate and just run into people who was willing to give me information at the level that they did. Because a lot of people don't experience that in this industry. A lot of people know how to do what they do and do it well, and they won't tell you nothing. Because at the same time, if you're in the same area as they're in, they're gonna just look at you as competition. They're gonna be like, I don't wanna tell you what I know. Yeah. But at the same time, I ran into multiple people who were willing to be. I was like, man, you know what? Here's my, hey, you know, I do real estate in Miami. You do real estate in Miami. But hey, still, here's my business card. Call me whenever you want to. If you need anything, if you got any questions, if you need to work on your way getting around, bro, I got you. Yeah. Many people, I had a person, you know what I'm saying? My main mentor, you know what I'm saying? I won't say my main mentor. I have different mentors. But one of them in particular, you know, this man is a he's a multimillionaire. He's married. He has 10 kids. This man can easily sit. And the thing is also he's very popular. Like he's not no A-list celebrity or nothing, but he's highly known. He's well known in real estate, like really well. If you do real estate, if you do investing, at some point in time, you're gonna run into his name. He's that popular in this industry, and he didn't have to have the time. He didn't have to make the time to be like, hey, call me whenever you want to. Right. He didn't have to do that. Yeah. And if he didn't want to do that, I would have respected it coming from him. Right. Yeah. But the fact that he was willing to be like, yeah, you know what? Yeah, call me. It doesn't matter that he's a multimillionaire. You know what I'm saying? And eventually he one time he invited me to his house a few months back, before Corona, he invited me to his house. Yeah. And he just gives information, but you know what? Also, he has a YouTube channel where he gives so much. Like that real estate knowledge that he has, he's able to feed into he feeds into people, and he doesn't ask people for a dime. Right. Like it could be simple things as documents. Like there's certain documents that in real estate, like I didn't even know I needed this. I didn't even think of this. They're not essential, but they back you. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And it's good. It's good documents to have and to use during your time in business. And if it wasn't for him, I wouldn't have known none of that. Yeah. But not only for me, but to whoever runs into his work, when he goes into and he puts that out there, he'll instead of being one of them regular real estate people who like to take money from people, instead he'll give and be like, okay, here's the link to a free download for this. You could just take it. It's free. Just put your email in there, whatever, and it'll get sent to you. And when he says free, he really means free, unlike some other people. Ain't no trick. Yeah.
By the time you get there, it's like, what? You got to pay for this.
Right. Just put your information, your credit card information.
Yeah, just put your credit card. We won't charge it. Right. We won't charge it, but just give us the information just to have it and we'll send it off to you. Right. Yeah. Like that's I run into a lot of real estate gurus who have done that, you know what I'm saying? And they sell these big old packages. You know what I'm saying? And he's not doing any of that. And I feel like his willingness to give the information I feel like that has blessed him. You know what I'm saying? In a really and he knows that. So
and sometimes you have to realize the people who come in your life that expect you to give, expect you to share everything with them. Notice the difference between the ones who are willing to take it and learn, help themselves and then help others, versus the ones who I could come up to you and be like, yeah, he gonna give me what I want,
Mm.
and I'm gonna use it for myself and only for myself.
Mm. Exactly. And also walking into a situation, which I feel like we should definitely do a part 2 to this, because what I would also want to get into the future is walking into opportunities, and like, for example, how you brought up your internship. You know, like, I feel like when you're asking somebody of something, you, like, for example, in business, right? There was somebody in particular, I'm not gonna say their name or nothing, but there's somebody in particular, and you know, they know what I've been doing when it comes to real estate and everything. And, you know, they call my phone. This actually happened last night. And when they called me, they were like, "Oh, you know, I know you got what you know, you have everything you got going on." He said, "Are you interested in like starting to build a team?" I said, "Eventually, yeah, I'm trying to get to a place where I'm building a team." He said, "Yeah, I'd like to be on it, and I'm willing to learn whatever it is that I have to, you know." And he's a real estate agent, you know. He's, you know, and he wants to get on my, you know, team for investing, which is in some lights a different realm. And I asked him, I said, "I know you're a real estate agent, so are you willing to stay in that area? You know, if you want to get on my team like really, really soon, I'm down with you like coming in, and if you want to work on certain things and you want to work as a buyer's agent for me in my process, I don't have to do that, because I don't, as a cash buyer, as an investor, I don't necessarily need a buyer's agent.
Mm-hmm.
That's how that works." But I said, "You know what? For opportunity reasons, I'll give that to you. If you want to do that, I'll put you there on the back end. You get a certain percentage of, you know, the full transaction.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So you make good money."
No.
So I was just like, "You just put in this little work, you know, stuff like that." And in those aspects, what I'm trying to make, you know, the case that I'm trying to make when I say this is that when you're trying to walk into an opportunity that you know somebody else can give you, just be willing to give to an extent where you're not. You don't run into people who are trying to manipulate what you give them.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
For example, say for example, a big company, a big corporation, right? Let's say you, for example, a big corporation, a big business, a brand that we all know, everybody in this room, they're widely popular.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And say they offer you a job, and they say, "Yo," and the position sounds nice, but you know, the salary is, you know, it's whatever. And they say, "You know what? We'll pay you $30,000 a year to come live in LA and be part of this corporation."
In LA.
Right.
30,000.
That's my point.
That's not
That's
even
my point.
Mobile, Alabama money.
That's my point. Because some people are gonna take that and be like, "Yo, but it's this brand though." Like, just me being a part of.
Yeah, it's a huge opportunity.
Okay, it depends. Oh, okay. Yeah, well, that's real. That's real. It depends. It depends on the resources you have. Because possibly, if you can make it work, it's all on you and what you have and how you take things and what you have. Because some people may be saving up so they could take on a situation like that. Some people not. Some people may have a family that's willing to support them in that situation.
If a big corporation is willing to say, "Listen, come to LA and come work for this company,"
yeah, we can do it.
They should at least understand where they are. Yeah. And if they want you to come to Hollywood and come work in Hollywood, they should understand that they should at least give you enough for you to make
live.
it there.
Yeah, because that is kind of messed up though. That's like what's it called? Yeah. That's like that's
that's
not.
You know, they offer you feasible. A job, but they don't offer you anything else. So it's like, well, dang, how am I supposed to get there? Where am I supposed to live? Where do I stay? How do I feed myself? It's more so like, I'll offer you this, but at the same time, you fend it for yourself.
Right.
It happens.
It happens, but you just got to be careful with those situations.
Yeah.
You know, not all situations is black and white. You really got to look at, you know, what's there.
Ask
Because
questions.
sometimes, for example, for interns, you can go somewhere and they may be paying you little to nothing at all.
Yeah.
But what they're giving you is highly important.
Yes.
And what you're giving them
Right.
at the same time is also highly important.
And you know,
But-
eventually, that so much will come out of that
Mm-hmm.
as it, as it continues. You gotta pick and choose.
Yeah.
You gotta pick and choose, and you have to be careful. Yeah.
In some situations, and how blurry the lines could be, is there's some situations, and even that in that whole situation, there's even some times when an intern is their presence is being abused,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
where because they're intern,
Very
it's like,
much
oh,
so.
that's an intern. Okay,
Yeah.
go here, go there, go there.
Right.
And
Yeah.
they changing their minds every 5 seconds. You
Yeah.
know what? Matter of fact, I want you over here. And they just like,
They can
and you
easily
all
let
over
you
the
go
place.
as well.
And then the moment you got something to say about it, the moment you
Yeah.
kind of like, chug back a
Resist,
little
yeah.
bit, show some resistance. They're just like, you're not even employed here. Like
Right.
you kind of, you
They
can
throw it
go.
back in your face.
Right. So it's blurred lines. You just got to be careful on how you attack that situation,
Yeah.
depending on what elements.
Yeah. Know the situation you in. Yeah, just like you say. You might not know. You
Mhm.
might not know at times, but hey, give versus take, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah. So be one in life.
Mm-hmm.
We gonna give and take. We gonna continue to give and take. I'm
Mm-hmm.
gonna take information. I'm gonna take everything that I'm
Yeah.
supposed to have, and I'm gonna give everything I'm supposed to give.
Right.
That's what we're supposed to do. So it's not really versus. It's just giving and taking.
Right.
It's giving and taking. So that's our thing. So that's it for today. This conversation was good.
Yeah, we appreciate y'all. We appreciate this wonderful conversation.
No, definitely, man. So this
Have
is
a great
it.
week, y'all.
This is
like,
it.
like,
Like,
share, subscribe, all those good things. Even comment.
Mhm.
If you guys have any comments about any of the episodes, just let us know. We open, okay?
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. That was real personal.
Oh,
That was
okay.
very personal.
Okay.
It's like a commercial. Like that's some type of stuff that if somebody was to be watching that, they'll be like, they'll answer like, yeah. I get you. That was the way So, but yeah, that's a good thing though. You should probably get into that. So yeah, so that's it. We're done, and we will be back next week.
Yeah.
Love y'all.
Have a great week, y'all.
Peace.
Peace.